Hi there. In this Microsoft Access video, I'll quickly show you how to create a report. So reports are based on tables. For reports, again, I always use the wizard. So I use the wizard for forms and reports. The wizard is a big help. It's quite complex to create either a form or a report from scratch, whereas the wizard's not much help while creating tables or queries. So we use Design View to create tables and queries, but we use the wizard for reports and forms. So I'm going to go create and report wizard. Ask me what table or query I want to use. So I'm going to quickly create a report based on my customers. I'll add all of the fields. The ID number, again, it's automatically generated, so it's not useful to for someone adding the data. It gets added automatically, but we may want to view it in a report. And I'll choose next. And I'm just going to choose next, 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 and then give the thing a name. Everything here works perfectly. Sometimes if you want to go to landscape, it'll give you a bit more room. The challenge of when creating a report is to fit everything onto a page. And I use RPT as a prefix for reports. And I'll finish. So there's my report. Notice things are cut off, as well as says RPT customer is not very user friendly. So I'm going to make this, I'll change this to say customers list, and I'll modify this so I can see all of the data. So customer sense is being cut off. Just like in Excel, if a number gets cut off, it gives you the hash marks instead of the number, so you don't see incorrect data. So I'm just going to quickly switch to the layout view. To do that, I have to close the print preview. So I'll close that, and I'll go to layout. I always use layout view. It's I find the most user-friendly method of modifying this sort of thing. So I'm just going to change that number there to customer. Well, this is a customer report already, so I can just say ID. That'll be the customer ID. It'll be implied. And if we want to make that, you can move these around. Notice when you have something selected, you can get the four-headed arrow. If you use I always use my arrows on my keyboard so I don't accidentally drag diagonally or down and get it off kilter with the rest of the column labels. So I'm just going to use my arrow key to move it over there. I could do that with these as well. These are going to be a finite length, always going to be 4 characters, so I can just resize that field to be 4 characters. And then if I click on the ID and hold down Shift on my keyboard and click on the data that the label represents, I can now use my arrow key and move the whole chunk of the whole column over. And again, I'm using my arrow keys to maintain the horizontal position. So first name, that's fine. Again, I can click Shift and then move that over a little bit. These are a little long. The width of the actual column is a little longer than the names, so you could reduce it, but again, you have to anticipate some people will have longer first names. And click Shift click for the last name as well. I'm just going to leave those at the same width, again with that in mind that some people may have long last names. Click Shift click to get the column label and the data, and same thing for that. And again, I'm using my arrow keys to change the position. I never drag with my mouse. Regions getting cut off. The region names are only for 2 characters, so I can just make an abbreviation for that once I move this over. So I don't want that word region to be cut off. I'm just going to use an abbreviation. And again, if I click away, click on it, and I can just drag that a little wider. Postal code, I'm going to change that to PC. Postal code, and again, click Shift click to drag those over, and then I'm going to make those pieces of data a little bit wider so we can see the entire postal code. Report's not much good if the data is cut off and obscured from view. We can also, I'm just going to move that over a little bit more. So basically this is the challenge with working with reports, is getting everything to fit on an 8.5 by 11 screen. Now, we still don't have enough room for this customer, so I'm just going to quickly change my font to Agency, which is a very narrow font. If you use Agency, I think it's called Agency FB, you should be able to get everything to fit the format here. So I can go click, shift click to select everything, and then use Agency here. There we go. So I'm going to quickly just shuffle these around a little bit more now that they're nice and narrow. I'm going to use Agency for the headings as well. So click, shift click to select all the headings, and choose Agency for those. There we go, nice and narrow now. Now we got room for finally that date field that is taking up more room than the other columns. Columns are also known as fields, by the way. So again, click shift click to select the data label as well as the data, and then I'm using my arrow keys on my keyboard to quickly move those over. You can hold it down as well. You see what I did there. If I hold it down, you can move it quite quickly, or tap repeatedly. And there we go. We finally fit all of our customer data onto the 8.5 by 11 screen. So I could just resize one of those, and now we've got all of the room we need. I can just push that over there, and I can move that again with my arrow key. I almost dragged with my mouse, which I don't like. So there we go. And one other thing, I'm just going to quickly change that title. So customer list. So this report is also dynamic to the data. So if we add more customers, next time we create this report, it'll include those customers, and it'll maintain the design that we added. So that's the power of these reports. I can quickly now, under external data, I can quickly save this as a PDF. So that is reports, again using Report Wizard. Now we have this a new object category, and there's my report there. So if I close this, I'll say yes, close my sales data. If I double click on that report, that's what my actual report looks like. Again, if you want to share it, it's external data, and then PDF. Save it as a PDF, and then you can share it with other folks. Yeah, so that is creating reports. Thanks so much for watching.